Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again so much for our time together. I want us to go back to the book of Matthew, chapter 15 today, to a little study I call Deflection and Perception. I want us to begin with chapter 15, verse 1. Then some of the Pharisees and teachers of the law came to Jesus from Jerusalem and asked, "Why do your disciples break the tradition of the elders? They don't wash their hands before they eat." Jesus replied, "Why do you break the command of God for the sake of your tradition? For God said, 'Honor your father and mother,' and anyone who curses his father or mother must be put to death. But you say if a man says to his father or mother, 'Whatever help you might have otherwise received from me is a gift devoted to God,' he is not to honor his father with it. Thus you nullify the word of God for the sake of your tradition. You hypocrites!" Now listen to his conclusion. "Isaiah was right when he prophesied about you. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. They worship me in vain. Their teaching are but rules taught by men." There are times that we get caught up in things because everybody else is doing it. That's called a tradition. And sometimes we have to step back and go, now, wait a minute, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Now, let me show you some things here. I want you to first of all understand that religion never wants to deal with truth. You nullify the Word of God by your tradition. Religion wants to deal with its traditions. This is what we are doing. This is what we want to do. And when they are challenged about truth, they always deflect into their tradition. Now you see this oftentimes today when people are challenged about, why are you going to the casinos and gambling? Well, it's no different than you investing in the stock market. That's called deflecting. Rather than deal with truth, they're deflecting. The Pharisees here are very good at deflecting from truth into their tradition. The problem with tradition is it nullifies. It invalidates, the Greek means. It invalidates the authority of something. It causes something to be disregarded. They nullify the Word of God. They invalidate the authority of the Word of God for the sake of their traditions. Now please forgive me. I'm going to step on some sacred cows. But I'm so tired of picking up the Christian leadership magazines today, and article after article has nothing to do with the Bible. It's quoting Steve Jobs. It's quoting business stuff. It's talking about the DNA of our church. I started to get caught up in that DNA thing one day, and then God just began to speak to my heart. No, you're not supposed to be reproducing the church's DNA. You're supposed to be seeing people become like Christ. Oh, now all of a sudden I've got a challenge. Now, when we start teaching our church philosophy and our church DNA, and this is our church, and this is how we do things, and we start teaching people our theology, and we leave out the Bible, we have a problem. We need to teach the Bible. Everything we teach should flow from the Scriptures. Let's leave out the modern churchanity. Forgive me, that's a horrible thing to say, but let's leave out modern churchality and church DNA and who we are. And let's leave out our theology. I practice a Pentecostal theology. No, let's just all get back to the Bible. Now, you can always tell when there's been deflection and nullification of the Word, because the fruit of it is what Jesus shows, a people who live in the illusion of perception. People who live in the illusion of perception without the reality of a relationship. They are part of the church, but they have no walk with God. They go to church every Sunday, and they sing the songs, but they have no walk with God. They live in the realm of perception without the reality of a relationship. Let's not get into deflection, and let's not focus on traditions and our church and our theology. Let's simply teach people the Word of God, so that rather than create a perception of reality, we create the reality of a relationship.